Alright, so I recorded the Modern Warfare review in its entirety. Um, and my camera only recorded 10 minutes of it. So I have pretty much the multiplayer and half of the campaign sections. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to post part 1, which is going to be the intro and the multiplayer. And then I'm going to post parts 2 and maybe 3 in the coming days. So stay tuned for that. This is part 1. Honor Allied Assault and Call of Duty came out in 2002 and 2003 respectively. The two World War II shooters were some of the first of their kind. Games less about a power strip and more about replicating the battles of World War II. They were followed by such a ridiculous amount of shooters set in World War II that anything that wasn't set in that time period was called new and different, such as Battlefield 2 and Operation Flashpoint. Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out in 2007, shaking the gaming industry. And when earthquakes happen, tsunamis aren't far behind. In this case, the gaming industry was violently hit with an overwhelming tidal wave of low-quality trend-chasing modern shooters, with color palettes of brown and gray during the 7th generation. Call of Duty was a trend-setter. It didn't copy others, people copied it. Then something changed. Vince Zampella and Steve Fukuda left Activision to work for EA. They put out Titanfall in 2014, which popularized Advanced Movement. Just over half a year later, Activision put out their progression-based Advanced Movement multiplayer title, little fanfare and lukewarm reception. This game was generic. Bah, just wait till next year's game. It's a Black Ops game. Those have been great so far. And it's set in the future with wall running and advanced movement. Yippee. Alright, now what about next year? What does Infinity Ward have in store for us? Modern Warfare? Cold War? World War II? Will it pull a Battlefield 1 and go back even further than we have before? Nope. Another advanced movement games in the future. Genius. And then Sledgehammer announced Call of Duty World War II. It was exactly what we wanted, back to the roots of the series. Boots on the ground combat. A serious, gritty single player. And that came out and everyone's distaste for the series returned. It was exactly the same as the last couple games, just with a new coat of paint and some moved features. It was the definition of bare bones. This is Call of Duty's first attempt to improve. Then came a rushed-out bare-bones multiplayer game with little in the way of improvement or betterment from the past futuristic games in the series. Then came the announcement. Modern Warfare reboot, realistic, but we've been burned before. Will this be any different? All the way since Modern Warfare 2, the bread and butter of Call of Duty has been the multiplayer. It provides a way for players to continue playing for thousands of hours, even after the series has moved on from a game. I mean, you can still play Modern Warfare 2 on PC to this day. I could jump online and join a Black Ops 3 match right now if I wanted to. These games are such successes that each game has a following even 10 years after launch. The multiplayer in this game is a spectacular leap in the right direction. The gunplay is nearly perfect, with a more realistic time to kill and movement system that feels realistic and fun. All the guns are well balanced, at least now. And the sound design is spectacular. All the weapons pack a punch that I haven't heard before in a game. You really feel every gunshot. So yeah, I'd recommend headphones. Pretty easily. The maps are really great, except for one, Euphrates Bridge. This map is one of the worst I've seen in the series. It's creative, I'll give them that, but it always feels extremely unbalanced, no matter what side you're on. You feel like you're progressing, and then you're cut down by enemy sniper fire as soon as you step into the crosshairs. There is nowhere absolutely safe, and the balance suffers because of it. Snipers are the only option here if you don't want to take the bridge. And if you do, the snipers will just pick you off from a random house 70 meters away. The map has some of the longest sightlines in the game, giving snipers yet another advantage. Don't ever choose to play this map. I do especially like the smaller maps. My best map probably goes to King, for its interesting look and good mix of long and short sightlines. Anything can happen in this map. Any playstyle is perfectly usable at all times. With the remaster of Rust from MW2, it really feels like Infinity Ward is trying to make this the ultimate Modern Warfare game. I've heard from other channels that camping is a huge issue, but I really haven't had any problems with it yet. The maps are designed so that there's no rooms with only one door. This makes a camper just another obstacle to overcome with tactics like grenades and flashbangs, as opposed to an unbeatable annoyance. The game modes are all awesome, with series staples like TDM and Domination, along with 2 new modes, Gunfight and Ground War. These spice up gameplay considerably. Ground War is the COD series' take on Battlefield. Unfortunately, the gunplay of COD doesn't fit with the huge long-range gunfights of the Battlefield games. Snipers and DMRs are the only weapons usable for most of the game. Only when the combat moves inside of buildings and confined spaces does the gameplay really shine. That's exactly what Gunfight's for. This is a 2v2 no respawns round-based battle on only small maps. Everybody has the same randomly generated class, and it changes every 2 rounds. I recently got into the Valorant beta, and that game is a bit like this mode in a way. You value your life much more than in other modes, and you're constantly making decisions, listening to enemy footsteps and evaluating the risks of different plays. It feels extremely tense and exciting to play. This is the mode I spent the most time with. It is satisfying to get kill after kill flying around a huge map with an SMG, but when it comes to the reason that I kept coming back, this mode is completely unrivaled. So my opinion on the multiplayer? It's a good, if flawed, component. Like I said, it's a big step in the right direction. It's definitely better than World War II and Black Ops 3. The shooting is great, the modes are good, and the maps are pretty good too. Just for the love of God, do not play Euphrates Bridge.